afford it. That's why we are here, so that the various authorities could help change it for us.
The issue is people have been wrongly placed. Let's look at those issues, deal with them. Then when the numbers are down, those of you who have other issues, we can look at them. Then we make progress. Some has been sent to deaf and dumb schools. You know it's not the right thing to do. Some were genuine errors. So they are being corrected.
Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Education, Otto Plaha, whilst admitting assessing postings online has been challenging, gave the assurance measures were being fashioned out to absorb candidates who are yet to be placed.
Away from education, let's focus on business. And GCB Bank has denied documents circulating on social media indicating that it will soon take over operations of the National Investment Bank. The document, which is sourcing the graphic business, says GCB has begun overtures to take over the state-owned bank, which could create the biggest bank in the country in asset terms.
According to the report, the discussions on the takeover later this year began at the board level. The document, which is sourcing the graphic business, indicated the most recent meeting on the takeover was on August 15, but a board member of GCB Bank, Nano Tuo Champong, has denied the story.
To the best of my knowledge, there isn't any takeover talks other than the two banks that they purchased and assumed management of. It's the governor or the regulator who will be able to tell whether they are distressed or not. But as we speak, they are not in any way distressed, at least from the regulator's point of view.
In a telephone interview, Head of Banking Supervision at the Bank of Ghana, Raymond Amanfo, also denied any such discussions.
Well, I don't know what they are discussing. I mean, as a regulator, nothing has come to our notice. Nobody has seen anything to us.
So you are not aware of any takeover for GCB taking over NIB?
No.
You haven't received any indication at all whatsoever that NIB is in distress?
No. NIB is not in distress. I've also read it from graphic business, so I'm waiting tomorrow. I'll call them to find out their source.
Sources close to the two banks, however, tell TV3 the takeover could be in 2 weeks. Reports indicate a successful consummation of the deal could potentially create an enlarged GCB bank with an asset size in excess of 10 billion cedis. With a population of about 27 million people, an annual GDP of close to $40 billion US, Ghana's economy is understandably too small for the current 33 banks.
The Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority has identified weak communication and lack of feedback as major bottlenecks affecting the paperless transactions at the port. The full implementation of the innovation is yet to take off as the old system is being used alongside.
Customs says about 1,104 entries have passed through the new paperless system. From September 1 to September 11th, the Tema and Takoradi ports have recorded 104 entries. On September 8th, the Tema port booked 437 customs entries, while the Takoradi port had 30, summing up to 467. On September 9, 39 entries were also recorded for the Tema port, with 0 for Takoradi port. On September 11th, 280 customs entries were declared at the Tema port, with 12 at the Takoradi port. Deputy Commissioner in charge of policy and programs, Yao Chair Richard Patrick, said post-evaluation on the paperless transactions has revealed the process needs to be streamlined.
Now, confidence is building up and volumes are increasing. For example, between the first and the today, we've done about 1,041 declarations, transactions for both Takoradi and Tema. These have been paid and we're at compliance as at this morning when we spoke around 9 o'clock. But quite a lot has been worked on, but we are beginning to see that volumes are increasing.
He confirmed the backlog had been cleared. However, officials are still using the old system alongside the new one. Although rent charges have been waived for some affected importers, others whose goods were at the private terminal still have issues.
And that'll be all for me this morning. Good morning, guys.
Yeah.
Good morning, Wendy.
Good morning, guys and lady.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I have to be fair.
She accepted the first guy. So
I took it as a generic term.
Was Wendy at St. Mary's Secondary School?
No, I wasn't. I went to Fijai Secondary School in the Western region.
Yeah, Fijai.
So you've been answered.
I'm told that your students are too no, Papa.
Oh, really? Is that all you heard?
You are told.
Right, did you hear any?
No, I wanted to find out when she was going, if she went through the same challenge.
Oh, no. I'm sure she had a protocol list also.
Protocol.
Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting.
Okay. Well, have a good morning.
But I remember my grandmother actually took the lead. Okay. I went to school with my cousin.
To go and prepare
so she sat there waiting for us to move from Accra to get there.
Aww.
That was actually sweet of her.
Yes.
Yeah, that was actually very sweet of her.
Grandfathers too.
I got there and I realized she actually looked for a school father.
Oh.
You know, for us. Said, me one showing.
Wow.
Thank you to Grandma for that. And at least that helped you turn out the way you did.
Yes.
You should marry your school father, maybe.
Hey, brother.
But he actually got married to one of my school mothers.
Oh.
But he's passed on. May his soul rest in peace.
Families have a problem that if your parents help you to grow your teeth, you must help them to get their removed.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Wendy will do well. She's like grandmother.
All right then. Atekwa, I love you so much. Good morning. Wherever you are.
All right.
Over to you guys.
All right. So let's run. Free SHS has started. It's kicked off. But what are the views out there in the public domain? George Quinn has been finding out with the folks. Enjoy.
The old Parliament House opposite the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum accommodated Ghana's legislators during the tenure of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And now the historical relic has been demolished. If you go on social media, for instance, you see the public fuming over the demolition. It's more like history is being faded. Let's know your thoughts about this. This is Daily Rant. Let's keep talking.
We'll call somewhere like England. We have Westminster. They have preserved. We'll call China. We'll call Germany. Oko India. Enti media me fisa nkomu jae na chiri mane ba ye de aka nyasema kas omuhwe ti said ye wo Elimina Castle ye wo what do you call even Cape Coast Castle and then even here Accra the former seat of government. Enti media me hu de enti also omubugu cause etimi ye ni ye refurbishing nanka except was a monument na say museum
on mind bia wona bekwasama ogina ode o dam ha nanka dam not ha na dam not ha na dam not but odru mmiri bia ye tum sasanyamam ma otum bade a na ha na dam not the most messy ba no be ye dam because ye hwe Kwame Nkrumah museum na bibisi wo me for place but makado ye one wide office no to ade ma but once you don't know, Kwame Nkrumah be bia mo mine nti odo twe ne fie kraso ne bakrom mo ba hin kronumu nti osi na okafa ne fie kraso no ne bai fine obia ba no da ko mo ka kraso at least anka won dem ho krona Kwame Nkrumah wo mu no both my improvement because they were man for ko no but me honestly what decision no dey on so na dwen nti on so dey o si bibi o efe da mo be ya Ghana mo no Kwame Nkrumah ha no dey owo because ye ka Ghana onan nkran on no chinje bi anyim bone bi anyim adasi din na but dem of last house and no ye evene ye bubu na we ba no be tanyin we ba ade kro de ye dwen o man mi de se oban de o man no ye de bibi to o de ye nyina ye dwen ye ko the hand damanoti nti yin kwanda oyi kanati I dem agin sipi
okay but when him say Sa building and accommodated legislators during Nkrumah time into a historical relic and see an nkwala ba generations dey ba they no dey chen
boni bia anyim nkwala na wo ba ye misere wo ba boto na dan na ebubu kra ana olosuo because Elimina Castle motuma kada sie de ye ya obesu e corporate na dan yo 100 years but Ghana ha ye imesiesie atekro ha yen because kwesi bro infra innovation ye yin ye innovate because dan this wa merba stadium na renovate ye say stadium na wan kasa kan kwagina stadium na stadium no atasi wanam go stadium no do but skaba man wanam wodi that's the question. And so banede so man no ye obi bia all the ye hu na ntima oro boto a all the ye ya adwe ye ko ye sese ne ye ya nadam na ye adwu agu because emi for na runs na buy runs be ye boduru bi gui for na kufuo boduru bi gui mahama boduru atamesin mahama boduru bi agu na for na nana kufa don so on so boduru bi agu nti ye misa da man zamani na obo man no ana obo man no se fi do obo man na let's go
say o ha no mbe ye nkruma circle omo nyina yes omo ye what do you call it overhead omo wie so ma sign preserve bibi omo any statue ni bibi esi o se de be ya obi aba no se nkruma cycle why nkruma I didn't think your friend is they may have something to see omo sign am a cry so nice among 40 people who serves as a tourist attraction so the same thing I think this thing should have been done
at the kwamuni there yan show tumfo oba ne dan dada na no wo fam wotimu no wambuangu osiesie no nankase kesi ne dan wachiwo atase that means mensia that means nkwala no be said na ye na mo dan na no owo hemfa o se nnam da ye museum won nti mo ankase mo nhwe atase dan dada bi owo kumase mensia bia no o ye adwuma de sam but Ghana ha no yem even the politicians no ba na wadwuagu o fi there obi aso na dwena ode yade no nti me mentum challenge there bia say na say but ono na order hu nda no the ma di me yenda ma dey no be because lifestyle house no ye no yadwugu no nna bibia be so a wiase no obi aba okohobi
okay
atase good kwame nkoma second ma ma bubu no ye we starting ya no dem but says ye hu na mfa so abem
okay
I think what you not know. Okay,
but we are the same people. We are crying for infrastructure development. So if this is more like we are beautifying even the capital city, I think it's not bad.
Oh, and with all said and done, as we sit here to talk, but we were of the view say Senka almost preserve we are. But if they have done it, so be it.
Okay, good. Capital city be you what then go here. Mfans kasem dan mekan capital city bi enwa ba kada yeze odanda de ya ebubu agufom na fa ebu na na hato na na hide what do you know
but say historical relic it's any crime okay say ebubu crank is fine sir
ebubu na obi antum nko ho no ono na oyo okay no ana de ebubu na yesese wo de ye de medi na la san tondo a onye adwuma
ye be anko mbe hyehyie no amana timi aye habitable because untimi nya ne sa na aserve the purpose na e wo ho no tie no de nya sa bubu na na e yoki e na enoma bi nsi wo ho a wo ye denara it should be on World Trade Center main cancer and fankai ebinu ya they still want to build the same at the same place and then some go make me be before from na se for omu ni so mu secret bet me aka ebinu ya na se but e landmark e ade bia se wo kan New York na wan ken wan ka ho
okay, I same way by demolition by Kofubu Fupan on social media. It's sad that we can't see what we can do with such historical relics, but all we do is to pull them down. Is it say you name the Edison Danny Ebet Mediana? I
wonder Ghana they have got a pensum council and pensum chim. As some do with my cabisande, a coin as some got in the basin or made mountain or Kabiaki. Yem pensum chim. Yem Mr. Day. O man pain den ne beneti ma otumi ye de ma no no oti wo ina no wa plan de so nyame ye na dum mo be di president a oba de obabubu dan na egua na no wa adwene ho ese de because o lawyer would I say nti no wa adwene adwene ho ese de da nti wa adwene adwene ho ese no so fi de ma no bobo man na dem wa da cho be ke all parliament house I watch ogu dan no na na kufa adum no ye na bread no si that means ono so abede aboko na yin Assassin, Wabokonim. Sometimes, you know, Tanasim there. Dama, Daya, you know, but they know a time. But we see and fine, Manaman fool. I fancy business internet. No, you're equipped. Okay? Ubun, Ubuna, I pay facilities are, will be a tum hobby. Sometimes you miss that at no mine and no mine. That's the question.
Do you side with him?
Oh, I know the idea, son. Idea be our advantages and disadvantages. So the opposite can be no. You may have your reason, but any de be na o purpose na o the be idea no. Right. We just want to confine ourselves. Say, ye perceive no may be a chima bar, a bit me and Sandahama, and Old Parliament House is one of them. It is so much good on basic for us, and the almost in the class, so it will serve as a Parliament House, and it will still come and serve that purpose. But and Kaibenya, Nanka, there should be something like progression. The Bio na ye koye.
Okay, Kwesi that would say Ekufuado has demolished a colonial and historic monument of this country, Old Parliament House, Saturday. Do you think say a best say anything? Ekufuado, a best say anything?
I mean to me, on say anything because Tama Kufubu Flaster House no be able to say anything. And you are maybe important and some biana and issue. A club I am for some men your politics. Make us don't mind back. Adibiano saying him do one, but from them one can say pen. Let's answer them. That Dibia him do one, but yet them one can say pen. But a team for some moon are. I just am a kind of mean, Nanko. Yes, sir.
I don't see that. We send a man mandate. Sound really for 4 years. Indeed, you know, office or yan who better know yan as a office a best any against any on the so really. And I think, sir, really and shed and just that I still stand by the point, Senka or any you could see for now and was a museum, as a monument. Okay.
Well, these are the thoughts coming from the public concerning the demolition of the old Parliament House, and we are told it's going to pave way for the construction of a new one at the cost of $50 million. Let's know your thoughts about this whole development. Log on to our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's News on TV3, and on Twitter, it's at News TV3. Thanks for watching.
Daily Graphic has the privilege to start this morning and says that Free Senior High School takes off with excitement and challenges, but Minority says it is unsustainable. That's the front page story. It has a photograph, three photographs of some parents supporting their ward to fill the forms. Now, today newspaper says Free Senior High School enrollment hit by hitches, and also on the today newspaper, Bank of Ghana minimum capital not good. The Daily Statesman, huge relief for parents as Free Senior High School comes alive, and help me fight corruption, President tells the Bar Association. The Times carries the Free Senior High School story and says Free SHS takes off smoothly as President launches policy today. And a quick look at the BNFT, the banner story, only 3 banks in line to meet capital requirement. The Finder this morning says it's all joy as Free Senior High School finally takes off, and it has photographs of some wards with their parents getting ready to go through the processes. Of course, our conversation this morning will be dominated by the Free Senior High School. My guest this morning is Member of Parliament for the WIM constituency in the Jasikan district, Honorable Daniel Kwesi Ashama. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you're good.
Very, very good.
Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll be expecting the Member of Parliament for the Asin South constituency, Reverend John Intim Fojo, to join us very soon. But let's start the conversation here. And Honorable, let's start with this one. The launch of the program is today. The President will do that. Yesterday, some children arrived on various compounds, and we are told of some challenges that has to do with getting admissions and all that. The Minority yesterday held a press conference. The key issue, as captured by the Daily Graphic, says, for instance, that the program is largely unsustainable. What is pushing the Minority to say that?
Thank you very much. And I thank TV3 for inviting me today. I think this is my first time of coming here.
Welcome once again.
Thank you very much. Actually, I would like to make this plain to all Ghanaians that Minority is not against the SHS. and minority is the largest opposition, or that especially so the NDC in parliament. And like footballers and the coaches and referees, there are some things that we can see more than the spectators. And so all our concerns are based on such things that we are seeing right now that are not showing a green light to the future of this new SHS program. And what are some of these issues? I am very, very sure that Ghanaians will attest to the fact that after the results have been released and the 48 ultimatum have been given by the minister for the students to fill the forms electronically, and the problems that parents have faced, and also the students who also test. Then after that, we shouted, excuse me to say, use that word. And then it has been extended to 4 days.
Right.
That those who couldn't fill the form within 48 hours can do so up to last week, Thursday. That also happened. Then now we are hearing that those who couldn't do it up to the 4 days should now do it till the end of September. What a jerky step that we are taking towards this glorious and so much welcoming new senior high school program. And that is our concern. But that one is even at a lighter note.
You're suggesting poor planning?
Yeah. And then looking at even how many students have passed or qualify to enter. How many students are going to get the opportunity to enter? Even if we don't know anything at all, let us go to the money, the funds that are going to support this program. How much has Parliament approved for this free senior high school program?
But how much did you approve?
It's 400
the finance
million.
minister was there, right?
400 million Ghana cedis. Okay. If you divide this 400 million Ghana cedis to, let's say a student is taking about, a new student to SHS, taking about 1,500 or 1,400, you realize that we cannot even enroll even let's look at 300,000 students out of the number that have passed. So much as they'll be, excuse me to say, tooting their horns, so it's successful and all with this icing program, cake icing program, we are launching the logos and all these things. How much is going to be used to support this program? So we are looking at that aspect. So if we have approved 400 million and taking averagely a student or a new student is taking about 1,400 or 1,500 Ghana cedis to enter.
Is it a year or a
per term? That is how they charge them. We have been paying school fees. Let us look. I'm taking that range.
The 1,400 you're talking about, is it the total school fees or?
Yes, like a new student going to SHS.
The rough figure is about
boarding and So if you factor it into 400 million, you are not getting even 300,000 students to enter SHS. Then they should tell us if they have additional funds sitting somewhere that is going to help this program to go forward. So when we look at the figures, the future is blurred. That is what we are talking about. So we can be making merry today, saying we don't wish SHS back, the new program, not at all, free SHS. No, we like it. We love it. Ghanaians love that. But they should tell us that with these figures that we have, and the students who have passed, and what going forward, it is progressively free that the NDC government have started with about 10,000 students, that they target the vulnerable, those who cannot make it, to be supported with all that they need to attend the school.
The finance minister came to the house you belong to and presented that 400 million cedis plus
budget. That was what is in the budget.
Yes. You don't think that in November, the finance minister is expected there again for the budget for 2018, and in that budget, the funding for the next term and perhaps beyond will be made public to the house? So
yes. We have not even gotten to the second term. We are talking about the first term. How many people? If I should go through what I have right now, which is an authentic like we usually say, some people say they intercept the information.
Okay.
Let us look at the total qualified. The total qualified is 424,092 pupils. Now, let us look at total number placed so far, 267,322. Then let us look at total qualified but not placed, 157,770. Now, if we have 400 million,
the money approved by Parliament.
By Parliament for this year, and then you factor, into it
the number of students, and you do some calculations.
Yes. Let us factor, let's say this 267,322 into 400 million. And then let us look at it for first time. So if minister will be coming in November, that is okay. So that budget will be for the second term. That budget will be for second. But if we take this 400 million this term that we are taking, then it means they will not be able to enroll 300,000 students out of the number of 424,092.
So that is where the argument is that if even the first numbers that have gone, the monies approved by Parliament, in terms of when you multiply it by the number of students, seems inadequate. And that is why you're questioning where
that
the
is
money
the
is going
third
to come
eye
from.
the minority is having right now.
I see.
Because the children of this country is not about politics. How much do we have to cater for them for this new SHS program?
Let me welcome the member of Parliament for the Asin South constituency, a member of the NPP, Reverend John Intim Fojo. Good morning.
Good morning, Bright.
And grateful for your time with us. I see your beautiful Free Senior High School T-shirt.
Yeah, thank you, Bright, and thank you for the opportunity to be
Yeah,
here.
all right. You didn't give me. You are wearing it.
I'll give you a copy.
So,
okay.
You see?
I'll give you a copy.
No, he'll give you one. I'm sure once we close the show, he'll provide.
I'll give you a copy.
These people.
Yeah. Any color you want, we'll give you.
All right. Reverend, grateful for your time this morning. And of course, I'm sure you might have listened or heard about the minorities press conference. And one of the key issues that they raised, and which we have started our conversation on, is the amount of money approved for the number of students entering this year, and even going beyond the first term, where the money is going to come from. Are these legitimate questions we should be asking government?
Yeah, good morning for the opportunity given, and a good morning to our cherished viewers, particularly those doing the viewing from Asin South constituency, and also to extend my appreciation to the chiefs and people who supported the launch of my MP's tertiary scholarship that was launched, and 30,000 cedis was dispersed to 75, brilliant but needy students in various tertiary institutions from Asin South constituency. And that is done in tandem with the free SHS that President Akufo-Addo has, in his visionary policy, has rolled out. Whilst he's taking care of the second cycle, I thought that was important. I also put together funds to support the tertiary. The minority held a press conference yesterday to express their views on free SHS. And here I must commend President Akufo-Addo for the boldness and the vision in rolling out in the history of social intervention policies, the biggest and the most pro-poor and the most important policy that seeks to relieve parents of financial burden, that seeks to totally, relieve parents from any fee whatsoever that first-year students in second cycle institutions will have to go through. And Bright, before I specifically respond to that, let me just use my life as an example. I finished Asin Kruad DC JSS, and from such a village, having farming is our job. My parents are farmers, and then the struggle to even find a placement. I eventually found myself in Asin Manso Secondary School, and in Asin is our flagship school. Yeah, and Asin Manso Secondary School, going through the 3 years was a struggle for me. And I could recount the number of times that I had to be excused from dining hall as a boarder because I had not paid my fees. And how I even had to survive on gari and sugar without milk, even in those times that I wasn't allowed in boarding, and other struggles. When examination was approaching, you are definitely going to be sacked, and you just will pray for a miracle to occur. And the narrative is pretty much the same today in most parts of Ghana. And if it is important that a government will have to, be sensitive about the plight of the masses. And now about 1,300 cedis that hitherto would have been paid by parents whose wards are going to SHS can be saved to start a business, can be saved to expand their farming activities, can be saved for other, business opportunities or other, other ventures. For instance, in the narrative has been that if a parent had 2 kids, maybe one entering the university and one about to enter the second cycle institution, there would have to be an opportunity cost. He would have to take a decision for one to sacrifice the furtherance of the education, to truncate the education. These are brilliant children who could have had the opportunity to continue if this policy were in place. So they had to take a decision to either let the one who had completed SHS truncate his education and discontinue from going to the university or polytechnic or nursing training or training college, so to allow the younger one to go to SHS, or vice versa, to allow the university person to go, and for the JHS graduate to discontinue his education. Unfortunately, this narrative is a thing of the past with the coming into being of this flagship policy. And Ghanaians across Ghana are excited, except for a few, the minority, who probably would not have a difficulty funding their children's school fees. Now, if in the next 3 years, for the people that have started with benefiting, the batch that have started benefiting from this policy, by the time they are done with their secondary education, their parents would have made a savings of 10,000 Ghana cedis, which would have been their cost. And how much is minimum wage? How much is the earning of an average Ghanaian for them to have, coughed up 10,000 in the next 3 years? So this will be remembered in history as one of the most important policies that has sought to bring, alleviate financial burden on parents. And Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, would forever, be blessed, and Ghanaians will always remember him for that. When we talk about some of the fundamental flaws in the minorities press conference, talking about as government making provision for only 85% of the people, that is entirely inaccurate and incorrect. For the past 4 years, the percentage of graduates pupils who had completed JHS seeking enrollment in SHS had been 72%, the highest, averaging around 72%. So in an incremental policy for maximum effectiveness, you would want to take the baseline 75% and even project it to optimum 85%. Notwithstanding, budgetary allocation was made for 100%, just in case we even have 100% enrollment. And he
questions that the budgetary allocation, because he says that if
400 million cedis covers 85%. But
I see.
Yes, but allocation.
So it's not all the 100%.
Yes, but allocation made is 480. The allocation made by Ministry of Finances 480 million cedis, which even suggests that should, in an unlikely event that even 100% should be enrolled,
they can be catered
they are catered for. And as we speak now, 92% were those who were successful at passing the examination that could even have the opportunity to continue. 92%. And out of the 85% that was even budgeted for, 82% have been enrolled. And then until the end of the month, 82% have been enrolled. And till the end of the month, those challenges that were encountered, for which extension
the
was
minority,
given to the end of the month.
Reverend, the minorities issue that out of 400,000 plus who passed, only 267,000 plus have been placed, and that 157,000 are yet to be placed. It's not accurate. That's what
it's not. It's not accurate.
It's not accurate.
Yeah.
Okay.
82% of them have been covered
of those
so
who passed.
Yes.
82% of 424,092 have been placed.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Please go ahead.
So now, talking about the sources of...
I get you. Just note it down. I'll come to you quickly.
Talking about the sources of funding, Ghana, as a sovereign country, we have...
Do we have the money?
We have public finances, and we have various streams of revenue that we pull into the public purse. And out of that public purse, monies are being allocated as a matter of priority to finance these ones. So that is what I want. And now, when it comes to the issue of free education, free SHS, It's a policy that if any group of people were even to critique it, I would have thought that the NDC would want to refrain from looking at this particular issue, because there are countless instances where notable stalwarts of NDC had come to criticize any such possibility of free SHS coming into being, describing it with various words that are not fit for me to repeat on this platform. Today, they take a U-turn and even go to the extreme of falsehood that they even started free SHS.
Didn't they say that because
amazing.
we don't have the money, let us progressively
So Bryce, if we were engaging and then we were looking at a policy, and I thought that I have started something, but I would need maybe so and so number of years to start. But you feel that, yes, you'll be able to find funding to start it immediately. My position would be that I have started this. Yes, it is possible we do this. It is important we do this. I have started this, and that give me this time. But what they came out to say was that it is not possible. Free SHS is not possible. It's a lie. It's just a lie to win power. It is. If it's going to be free, it's not going to be quality. And all forms.
If indeed that is
and
what
all
they
forms
said,
of accessions. We have all those records. We have, and I can repeat all of them. I can read all of them here.
It's not possible.
So, and even the 85 cedis that we were paying per term to the day students, we are paying that in addition to what we are doing for the continuing students.
Is it legitimate?
Reverend, they are completely
legitimate to say that what the NPP government is practicing now is progressive free senior high school, since it is not all senior high school students who are benefiting?
Where the definition of progressive as free is what?
Gradually get every student to be on the free
No, when you say that, it's still vague, because the NDC has not been effective at even articulating what they mean by progressively free SHS. And here we are saying that we need a leadership that is assertive, leadership that is realistic, leadership that is sensitive to the plight of the people and would not defer what is very important that has to be prioritized and immediately addressed to some, 30 years, 20 years, when no concrete, action is being taken. And look, this 480 million Ghana cedis that has been allocated to the funding of free SHS. We heard in the narratives, the corruption narratives in the past 4 years of in a single transaction, the country losing as high as $200 million, as high as $150 million.
They are all still allegations. I'm reminding you that
rebranding and all those excesses. The losses that we have incurred.
I'm only reminding you that they are still allegations. So you can refer to them as allegations of corruption.
The seepages and the leakages.
Great.
I mean, the world over, the narrative and it's been established that Ghana loses by research. Ghana loses a lot more through corruption in the past years than we even received in aid. So if anyone would challenge that, concrete research finding, they may come with their counter findings. But if that assertion is something to go by, then we all as society admit that if we are going to go by prudent public financial management and make savings and ensure seepages and leakages through corruption are dealt with, then funding SHS shouldn't be a burden and shouldn't be difficult. And should be viewed as a very important priority that any government that has been bold enough and sensitive enough and effective enough to implement it will have to be commended. And here, let me commend President Akufo-Addo for this.
Let me pause you here. I'll come back to you.
He has made a lot of...
Reverend, let me get him to react. Let me get him to react to some of the issues you raised. He first of all is questioning the figures you're raising about admissions and all that. Maybe you can start from there.
Please, my honorable colleague should stop the habit of throwing dust into people.
No, that's unfair. I will not accept that. Before there were a lot of lies and propaganda that you spewed out.
I just spoke of figures. I spoke of figures.
If you want to go the propaganda way,
so what we are saying right now,
if you want to go the propaganda, I would meet you.
You let him touch on the figures.
If you have counter figures, what stops you from bringing?
I don't have any counter figures.
You don't have counter figures, and you are describing mine as lies. That's unfair.
About right now.
Please allow him to go.
You are reverend, please.
Yeah, and that is why you should be careful. And that's why
you let him
talk. Careful calling me a liar. When you have lied and I haven't even commented on it.
No. Please, you cool down.
Okay.
We are talking about figures. Ghanaians are watching and listening to us. What we have right now about students who totally qualified is 424,000. Now, total placed as at now? Can he tell us the total?
Is that your
they
figure
have not.
Is as of this morning or yesterday?
The figure has the 267,000. Let me just supply.
No. It's enough. It's enough. It's enough.
Yeah, please go ahead.
How much is one student going to spend as a new student in?
He mentioned 1,300. I heard you say 1,400.
Yes. So if it is 1,300, and he mentioned right now that all has been placed, if total qualified right now is 424, and he's telling us all have been placed, and he mentioned 1,300. You should factor it and look at the figure, whether he's telling Ghanaians the truth. And let me also move forward to say that what we are talking about SHS, Nana, former by that time candidate, did not promise Ghanaians piecemeal or progressive SHS. He said total. Everybody will have that opportunity to.
Did he say everybody, or he said
the senior high school students? Okay. He didn't say that the first year students.
Okay, all right.
He didn't say that the first year students. So right now, what is happening right now, that you are paying for only first year students, means we are doing it progressively. If he comes out to say right now that from SHS 1 to 3, we are paying for them, then we know that yes, what you campaign to say, you are really applying it. And he's not doing that. This is what we, the NDC people, are saying. So all Ghanaians should know that from the word go for this free senior high school program, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has divided families. You have 3 children. One is in SHS 1, second 2, 3. Now the first one will not pay. The 2 are paying. Is that what he promised Ghanaians? That is what we are looking at. And right now, as at now, just a minute.
Okay,
as at now that we are talking, schools have been reopened yesterday. Have the headmasters gotten the money? So you see what is going to please 20. No, we are talking of just a minute. Let us. We are talking of the head. Even before that is it. You look at he even went after corruption. Even before he is talking about corruption, he has not started satisfied.
We'll get there. But let me ask
what is
no wait. We'll take them one by one. You're raising issues about all streams of senior high school.
Yes, that is what they promised.
Now,
not we.
Government has said that. And it is obvious that a government can't afford to have all 3 streams enjoy the free. So first year, let's start. Next year, we'll have it. And then the third year, all 3 streams will then have.
So that is where the word progressive that they are refusing to accept comes in. So if you do something today, please. We have started with 10,040 students who are vulnerable. That we are supporting them, their school fees, even their bags and other things. We please don't
interrupt. Our listeners will not get what he's saying.
Let us get our time.
I'll come to you.
Let us take our time. So if you say free senior high school, that you have campaigned to Ghanaians, the people you are admitting today, they were in JHS, basic schools, but you go to senior high school to campaign, to tell them that you are going to give them free senior high school. Did you do that? This is what we are talking about. We need to tell the truth to Ghanaians as politicians. So you campaigned at the senior high school compound that free senior high school is coming. Now the person got to SHS 2, and then it is the people you didn't campaign with, the basic senior students, pupils. They are getting the first year, not even the second and third. First year. This is the question we are asking. Are you telling the truth? So it is progressive. It cannot be total free SHS. That is what we are looking at. If they are able to encompass everybody, then we are talking of free senior high. So this is the program. That is the reason why former President John Dramani Mahama have started with 10,000 plus students who are vulnerable. He made mention of that is progressive. That is progressive. And then he started building the E-blocks because we know that we are going to get more students entering into the senior high school. The program is good. But when you come to tell us that you are coming to do it total from the beginning, and now you are picking and choosing first years, you do this, second, and even the money that is allocated right now, they have to come to Parliament again for another funding.
Let me put that question to Reverend. Yes. Reverend, why is government unable to roll out the program for all everybody. 3 streams of students?
Let me quickly touch on that. But here, be quick to remark that my honorable friend here will admit will admit perfectly that when you're entering into a social contract with the people to seek their mandate, the mandate is valid for 4 years.
Right.
And any social contract that you enter into with them is expected to be rolled out within the period. And here we are just in 7 months and 8 months. So this is our 9th month.
Right.
And right in our 9th month, the president has been truthful and committed and has started implementing this policy. And so giving the program, how it has been so structured, by the 3rd year, this policy is completely rolled out in every stream
why
of
messages.
Can't we completely so now, when it comes to...
Reverend, that's a question the minority is asking.
No,
is it because there's no money?
When it comes to why we are not starting for all the streams, the answer is we did not stand on any platform to promise that as soon as we come, we are going to start with everyone. So that one will have to promise. That one we promise free SHS. See, one minority,
only for first year students.
One minority, ironically, for their failure to even go beyond 10,000. He just mentioned 10,000. They were able to select 10,000 vulnerable people. We are looking at about 400,000. We are looking at about 400,000 students. And you were abysmally able to identify 10,000 people. And even that 85 cities.
No, I don't want to interrupt him because he might
please keep your propaganda. Please keep your propaganda. Reverend
Fodjo, let's stay on this issue.
And the figures that he mentioned, let me speak to the issues. The 267,000.
But you have not addressed the first question.
If he allows me, I would address it.
Why is it that we can't have all 3 streams running the program? What is the problem?
It's a matter of decision.
Okay, it's a decision by government. Great.
Yes, a government decision.
A government thinks it's a prudent decision.
Yes, a prudent decision. See, for every
government is a prudent decision.
But you noted that. I'll come to you if you want to.
Every program to be
Ghanaians are listening to you.
Effectively, you need to evaluate it, you need to plan it properly, you need to give timelines and then phase it out and to see how it rolls out and see how you sustain it. And this is going to be a very sustainable policy, a social intervention policy. And MPP is noted for rolling out social intervention policies, and then some other party is noted for running them down, ostensibly because they do not believe in even the core tenets and the principle on which those interventions are premised on. So again, let us make the point clear. Our mandate is for 4 years. Our mandate is for 4 years. And yet, we didn't wait for the 2nd year to start it. We didn't wait for the 3rd year. We didn't wait for campaign year to begin free SHS. We started in our very first year. We have started in the 9th month of our mandate. President Akufo-Addo has begun this policy. And this is a very laudable step that anyone will have to, if anyone had believed in any so-called progressively free, if you want to do something progressively free, and then you start with 10,000 people out of 400,000 people, and even that, you give an abysmal amount of 85 cities to cover. I mean,
are you able to answer? Are you able to answer why, for instance, we're told by the minority, by the Times newspaper, that 5,556 students who resat the BECE last year and due for admission this year are not considered under the program. They will have to pay fees. Are you able to answer why it has happened like that?
No, I'm aware that 7,000 people under the program that was put in place by the previous government to give previous year's candidates the opportunity to reset. Applications from that category to this stream was 7,000. On all those people have been placed. All those candidates have been placed. So that 5,000 figure from that,
so the minorities issue
it is 7,000. It is 7,000.
That is not true.
Yes, it is 7,000.
They have 5,556 students here, and they are saying that they have not been catered for under the program.
So
you are saying that they have all of them are going to enjoy the program. Okay.
Now again, let me speak to this
if right now,
I'm coming to you too. I'm coming to you.
If right now 424,092 have qualified, and you have placed only 267,000, and you are telling us that the previous year, whilst we still have those who are not placed, 156,000 have not been placed. What is he telling? He is telling us
the lie. This 267,000 was the placement that was done by the CSSP by the first batch of placements. And then following after, the window was open for students, that 150,000 students who are standing, to go to myghsresults.com to go and place themselves in a school of their choice. So if my honorable friend here has not even had the respect to update himself with information even before sitting and giving information to the public. So let me update you that those 267,000,
let's take
those 267,000 was the first.
You are saying that
there is a footnote, and I'm saying that at 82,000,
those people who apply to schools that
so
have vacancies.
Okay. Update yourself.
The two schools that have vacancies. What is he talking about? He's lying to that.
Hold on.
He cannot do that.
Hold on.
And this is where
Honorable Danshama, please hold on for me. Please hold on for me.
The blueprint.
Gentlemen, when you talk over each other, my viewers can't hear any of you.
No, maybe.
Hold on.
Hold
on.
Hold on. Update yourself.
Hold on. Reverend, please, let's answer this question, then we can proceed.
We are not talking about, we are looking at the figures from the parliament, the budget. The budget and factor it.
Wait,
that is what
this morning.
Have the money the headmaster is going to use today.
We are coming to that.
They are using the old students' school fees to cater for the first year students.
Reverend,
that is what they are doing.
As of this morning, how many of our students can you confirm that have been placed? Is it a figure you can confirm?
I'm not. I don't have the figure.
82%. You don't. So okay. So not all of them have been placed.
82% of which figure?
Correct that figure. For these students, for these students in SHS, the fee that have been absorbed by government is not 1,003 as I initially submitted.
Okay, it's more than that.
I have to know it's less than that.
It's less than
for
that.
this student, it is 648.
So you see that you
for this student. Reverend, if we can take the figures. Wait. Let's take the figures.
648
for day students.
What are you talking about?
Okay, that is for SHS, and for the TVET, it is 748.
Okay, then borders.
47. For borders, for SHS, it is 1,000. That's 1,002.67.
Okay.
And for the TVET, it is 1,102.67.
Okay.
So that is the correct figures that I have to put across.
Okay.
All right. 80% as of date have been placed. 82% have been placed. So if you would also find the honesty to update your information, even apologize for spewing out past school.
Okay. Reverend, all right. You have given me your figures. Now, he's saying that as of this morning, 82% of those who qualified, that is 422,092 have been placed as of this morning. That is the figure he has.
That's the figure he has. So as at yesterday. But what he's saying right now is not correct. This information he's talking of is from a committee responsible for education. So what he's saying, when you got and gotten the figures, it is about 63% so far.
That have been placed.
Yes, it is about 63%. So he is not from that committee.
All right.
So he cannot tell us.
Then again, I'm moving the conversation on.
Yes.
Wait. Honorable members of parliament, let us move the conversation a notch higher. Let us move the conversation a notch higher. Now, honorable members of parliament, please let us move the conversation a notch higher.
Is it not Monday? Is it not Monday? Today, Tuesday? You say 2 weeks ago.
Please, I will be compelled to turn off your microphone. So just calm down. Okay.
Stop him when he's talking.
Let's move the conversation a notch higher. Now, Reverend, let's start. Now, these young ones are in school now. We're told that monies are expected to hit the accounts of these persons. Now, Charles is suggesting that they know how government systems work, and so there will be some delays in the monies arriving. Now, how do we help or support these heads, bezzers, to ensure that these ones who are getting to school this week will have some food to eat and will be able to settle down well?
Yeah, 20% of the disbursement has been made, and schools have been requested to reconcile. As of now, we may not know the actual numbers that will be admitted. So by the end of the admission period, they may have reconciled their figures and then submitted same, and then the balance that ought to be disbursed will be disbursed accordingly. In the meantime, I'm aware that buffer stock, national buffer, food buffer stock, company has been mandated to supply SHS with food, register suppliers.
Even before the money is coming.
No, but obviously, it is no longer going to be the responsibility of SHS, of the various schools, to pay the suppliers. It is government that is going to pay the suppliers.
The free SHS secretariat.
Yes, it's government that is going to pay the suppliers. So if government has made arrangement for registered suppliers to supply with the arrangement with buffer stock, then it is no longer the burden of the various institutions to have to credit, to have to find monies to pay suppliers and all that. So the suppliers ought to just supply the required quantities to the secondary schools and then invoice buffer stock, and buffer stock, pays them. So that is the new arrangement that has been done, contrary to the propaganda. And again, on this free SHS policy, one can choose to do propaganda with it. One can choose to do politics with it. But at the end of the period, Ghanaians are excited and they are happy that President Akufo-Addo made a promise and he has fulfilled it. Right. And the burden has been taken off them. And that is the substance of it. If anyone could have done it, they would have done it within the 8-year period, or it would have even been contained in their...
If this is the case with the buffer stock arrangement, what do you make of heads who are suggesting that they might have to run the program with school fees of second and third years until perhaps the monies hit the account properly?
No, come again on that.
I'm asking that if this arrangement is being done, from what you're saying, with buffer stock, some heads of these schools are suggesting that in the interim, they might have to run the school with the fees paid by second and third years before those from the first years come in.
Yeah, and again, I admitted, I submitted that 20% has been paid to them. So if it is not entirely correct that only the continuing students' fees or funding is what they are going to feed the new entrants with, at least 20% deposit has been made, and then they've been asked to reconcile the actual numbers they've admitted, and then following after the submission of that report, disbursement is made to cover the balance. Yeah. So that is what the facts
And finally, before I go to Honorable
so like I said, if that arrangement has been made, 20% has been done, awaiting the reconciled report,
right.
And then arrangement has been made for registered suppliers to supply through buffer stock, then that should lessen the financial burden.
Finally, we knew the finance minister was in Parliament, and that is where he presented that allocation for the free senior high school. We knew that on 11 September, these students were going to go to school. What is the problem? Why has it been that we are now releasing funds when we knew long ago that schools were going to start in September?
20% has been released
but,
to the various institutions.
But as we're talking now, the Ghanaian Times has a story.
Yeah.
If you take, that's on page 4, that says that the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, yes, are suggesting that they are yet to receive their funding allocation for the free senior high school program, despite the commencement of academic activities yesterday. Now, they are suggesting that they know of the challenges. And Mr. Sam JB, who is the General Secretary, confirmed that the schools were yet to receive the funds, adding that Charles was not aware of any school receiving the money. He said, usually with regards to releases from government, it takes a bit of time for the process to take effect, and was confident the money would hit the accounts of the schools in the next few days. So then the question is, if we knew long ago that schools were going to start in September and the money was there, why has it taken us all this while to release the money?
Yeah, fundamentally, when a budget in the budget statement, a particular spending finds expression in it,
right,
and then allocation is made, and then Parliament signs appropriation to that effect,
which was done on 31st March.
What it means is that that allocation has been made. The rest will be administrative, disbursements. And here, the program were to start, and then just last week, 20% was released by Ministry of Finance. And then what will have to be done will be the necessary agencies that actually administer some of these transfers to do it for the various SHS to have it. And then the instruction that follows is that after receiving the 20%, you would have to reconcile with the numbers that you've actually received. Right. And then when you submit the report, the balance is remitted, is disbursed. So this arrangement, I do not see any other arrangement that could be more prudent than this. Yeah, so
it could be
essentially
proceeding.
Yeah, so essentially we all admit that it is not now that we are going to look for 480 million cedis to run this policy. That allocation has been made, and then 20% of it has been released to the schools, pending the submission of the reconciliation.
All right.
Then
the rest can follow. Honorable Shama, so that explains the minorities' question in that why has the money delayed, and that heads were going to be put into some unnecessary pressure. That's what the minorities say. But he said that the administrative procedures they need to deal with.
You see, this is where I have a challenge with them as government, because we are in this country. He narrated how he suffered and went to school and all those things. So I am very, very sure by now he would have known very well that when monies are released from Ministry of Finance, sometimes it takes a month for it to reach my Buema Secondary School in Buem constituency. So therefore, if we all know all these things, why do we wait until Monday? Yes, school was open Monday. They said they have released money. Let us find out from the headmasters whether they have received these monies. So if they have not received these monies and these students were told that they are coming to live free on the compounds, how are the headmasters going to feed these students? That is the question we should be asking. And then when we talk, they say we are doing propaganda. Please, I didn't interject you. Please.
Reverend, please allow him. Please allow him. Please allow him. He did not interject. No, Reverend, he listened to, so please allow him to.
So why are all these things happening now? Even the buffer stock issue that they are talking about, for government to procure and distribute, government is procuring how many centers do we have as buffer stocks in this country that are to supply foods to the senior high schools. So if the foods does not come from the buffer stock, how do the students eat? This is what we are looking, because formally this procurement, central procurement system that they are talking of is going to lead this senior high school in jeopardy. Because if the senior high school headmaster at Buema Secondary School is to wait for rice and maize from Accra, buffer stock, and then to supply at Buema Secondary School, hitherto, they themselves take a truck, go to Dambai, and acquire, which is, Dambai is about, let's say, 1 hour drive, and they acquire these things ahead of time. We know how government institutions operate in delays. How are we going to manage this situation? And so we are even against that central procurement. You should allow. What is the decentralization policy in this country about? That we are bringing everything back to Accra or the government to do? What are the headmasters doing? Now, what are the business doing? These are the issues that we are talking about. If you say the money have released and now you are waiting for reconciliation, then what of the students on the compound? What are they going to eat? Even the SHS free one that we are talking of, what is the blueprint for the headmasters to follow? They don't have any blueprint.
We will wrap up on the blueprint when we come. After Johnny has given us some questions.
When we talk, they should not tell us that you are
Reverend, I'll come to you for the correction. I'll come to you for the correction.
They should answer the decentralization policy in this country.
And the blueprint. We'll come back and deal with that. Johnny, let's take us through some comments.
Or you find out.
Yes, gentlemen, I am coming. Johnny, good morning once again.
Good morning.
I am sweating.
Yeah.
Let's get some comments and then we can go back.
A bit of sweat is good. It shows you are perspiring well. So the minority should stop the baseless propaganda on the free SHS. It's a good step by starting with the freshers to ensure its sustainability and quality. We should not politicize this, but rather support the hardworking president. And Zinekena Nathaniel, TTB in Boga, says the MPP's free SHS is not properly implemented, and I don't blame anybody than the president, who is in a hurry to spend borrowed money recklessly and not truly deliver on his numerous promises. Alasan Owana says the commencement of free SHS education for all Ghanaians has come to affirm MPP's cherished desire to making education accessible to all and sundry. We have now realized that free SHS policy isn't a mere rhetoric, but a reality that has come to stay. God bless Nanado Dankwe Kufado from Masaudu, Bantama and Sedaba. They say now Ghana have an old man who cares for its citizens. He promised Ghanaians he will not steal our taxpayers' money. Instead of building hostels in Dubai, he has chosen to invest in free SHS education. And this is why the NDC are praying for the free SHS to fail. Congratulations, Mr. President. Hashtag Ghana Beye. Good morning, Bright, and the entire crew of NewDay. With the issue of the demolition of the old parliament, I don't get any sense in that. It's just a waste of time and money. Those who pulled it down must be prosecuted since the AMA has not authorized them. Ibrahim Akaba in Wale Wale. Once again, good morning. I want to ask the minority, whenever you go home and you have a gift in your hands, which will be enough for your children, don't you give it out to the little child? Is it better? It's better we start than not start at all. Remember, 4 years it just started from somewhere and ended somewhere. So allow free SHS to start from somewhere. Hope you know during J.J. Rawlings' time, free SHS started from the north. Why not the whole Ghana then? Minority will be in opposition for long. Hashtag Stonewall from UPSA. And it says, well, the government should try and pay all arrears due teachers. Johnny, please, can you guys help us find out why the 2014 year batch of teachers in Kombungu district in the northern region have not been paid their arrears when their colleagues in other districts in the region have received theirs? We heard the team for validation will commence on the 11th of September. That's yesterday. These affected teachers want to know their fate as to whether their forms have been validated or not. Shaibu in Tamale. Makanameni writes from the UK, says, truly speaking, the conduct of the minority is very irritating because they are thinking about the national interest, but only what will serve their own. They are not thinking about the national interest, but only what will serve their selfish partisan interest. And it's very disappointing. The Eswa Mahama-led government used to resource the resources of Ghana for misplaced priorities like bus branding and planting trees in the dry season. But the visionary government of President Akufo-Addo, who thinks about the future generation of Ghana, is using Ghana's resources prudently in making education accessible and free to benefit all Ghanaians, no matter what the unfounded criticism by the doommongers NDC. This laudable policy initiative will stand the test of time. This is not free SHS, it's free first years. Where's the money and where's the money from? Abu Doinwa wants to know. Good morning, Ghana. I've been following your show for a long time, and for once I must say the women on the show is not objective. In fact, I'm surprised she's still criticizing the implementation. Okay, you're talking about Amma here. Well, Amma has her own opinion, so well, good morning. Your morning program is always my favorite breakfast. MPP is displaying high level of commitment and competence. Restoration of hopes for the hopeless by gunning down most of his major campaign promises and putting his critics to shame. When will NDC be competent in opposition to keep the government on its toes? From incompetence to disunity, struggling hard to win a political point out of every positive headline. Opposition is your original place. From Kawawa, Tiragisa, MPP Youth Organizer, Aspirant, Boku Central. Okay, good morning, Johnny. I'm very disappointed with the president. And why is it that the promise to make SHS free and we, the continuing students who voted for him, but none of the JHS students voted for him, but they are enjoying it now. NDC will bounce back again, inshallah, in 2020. Also, my greetings goes to, okay, thank you very much. You don't pay, that's in the system now, and you are employing year workers. Okay, so you say year workers are old and yet free SHS is happening. Good morning. Your morning program is always my favorite breakfast. And okay, so please, the road between Hohoy and Jasikan is in a devastating state and in more trouble. Just last week, I traveled to Hohoy with the fare of 7 Ghana cedis, and only yesterday returned the fare is 10 Ghana cedis. The road was started by the previous government but has been abandoned. Please bring your cameras and capture the state of the road. We need help. Anthony Jasikan. Okay, we'll deal with that for you, Anthony. Good morning. I'm Peter from Kwashiman. You guys are really doing a good job. I think some of the heads of the various schools are not okay with the free SHS, so they are finding ways and means to take money from the parents. How can a first-year student have to pay for unfinished infrastructure? You want to know. Good morning. I really enjoy your conversation. I love free education. Bogache in Swam. And finally, perhaps, good morning, TV3 and your viewers. Parliament should enact a law to regulate free SHS so that fraudulent school authorities and saboteurs can be punished. Such a law will also check against unnecessary alteration of the system by successive governments without parliamentary approval. Mark 2 in Bolga. And where did Ghana get the money to fund free SHS? You're asking in the 3 northern regions since Nkrumah's time. Those who are questioning the funding of this policy are Haruna Idrisu and co, who have benefited from free education since their inception. As a new policy, it will have some glitches, but in the long run, it will be okay. We should all support Nana to make this bold policy a success. NDC fears that it become a successful success. Coming back to power will require divine intervention, which will never happen again. Father, from Petro.
All right. Okay, Johnny, we're grateful. Reverend, quickly respond to it. He said the buffer stock doesn't have what it takes to get all this food to all these schools. And then he talks about, again, trying to centralize instead of decentralization.
Yeah, thank you. Just to hit on that, if NDC in the past 8 years, let me even put in the past 4 years, had started with even half of a particular stream, let's say half of the first year students per year, by the end of the 4th year, they may have covered about 80% of the students. If they believed in anything progressive, so they call. So if a government has come in and starting first years in the 9th month of its tenure, then you know that by the time that we are even in the 3rd year, all streams are covered. Now, with the issue of buffer stock, you see, that's why it's always important to read, find out certain things before you jump to criticism or propaganda. Buffer stock arrangement is just to take the burden off the various institutions and their bearers and the payment of such receipts. So all the registered suppliers. No, I'm coming.
Have criticized that, suggesting that you are centralizing again.
The registered suppliers come from all over the country. So, for instance, in every region, buffer stock has zoned out the various SHS and given to local suppliers within the various catchments who are experienced in such supplies. So it is not someone that is sitting in Accra who is going to ask, has been misconstrued by my honorable colleague here, to submit a truckload of corn to buffer stock in Accra en route to Tamale or Buem or Dambai or Asemanso, for instance. So there are various suppliers who have been assigned to specific SHS, that this one is supplying this SHS, this one is supplying that SHS in every region, in every district. That has been zoned out. So it is expected that at the takeoff of this policy, all is in place and very formidable arrangements have been put in place. And I call on all stakeholders not to stand as people who would say we want this policy to fail, for which the part that we ought to play would relent or would jeopardize it. Let us all put in our best and ensure. I've received dozens of texts from various heads of SHS giving their experience as to how effective and smooth the implementation has taken off. Some are reporting they've admitted 400 people. Some are saying 480.
Finally,
the joy. So let us. I'm calling all Ghanaians, all stakeholders. Let us support a successful implementation.
The president is launching the program this morning. A quick one on it before we wrap up.
I would just like to tell all Ghanaians that NDC or minority is not against free senior high school. We are just following the issues or informations or the campaign messages that MPP have given Ghanaians. That it should be all. Right now, it is not all. It is only the first year students who are going to do that.
We are in the 4th year.
And
we are in the 4th year.
Please.
Oh, he's wrapping up. Reverend, he's wrapping up.
And also, this buffer stock issue, I was a worker who supplies them with their packaging materials. So I know more about buffer stock, though for about 4 years I'm no more working there. And we know the type of capacities they were having. Unless otherwise, with this new SHS issue or free SHS issue, they are telling me that in Jasikan district, buffer stock has a depot over there, which I've not heard yet. So what we are talking...
Did you really listen?
No. Please.
Okay,
Identification, please.
We are wrapping up.
Identification. No, let me learn. I did not disturb you.
The president will be launched.
What we are talking about right now, where is the government trust of the headmasters who were actually placed?
No one is going to carry...
You made a statement that I am responding to. You made a statement. I don't know whether you know what buffer stock means.
And I'm
I don't
stating
know,
it here again.
because if Minister of Finance
let me
is
tell you,
in a
you
what comfortable position with the headmasters, money should just be transferred to the headmasters to do. Why the buffers talk again? And who is the buffer?
All right, gentlemen, I am grateful for your time. Daniel Kwesi Asham is a member of parliament for the Gwim constituency, a member of the NDC. Reverend John Intim Fojo is a member of parliament for the Asin South constituency, a member of the NPP. Those of you who sent in your comments, we are grateful for your time with us. Keep them coming. The president is with the launch this morning at 9 a.m. We'll bring you more on that. Stay with us. We'll have sports after this.
Welcome back. So, of course, as we all know in Ghana, every day on our news somewhere you hear about dialysis. What exactly is dialysis all about? Of course, with the increase of kidney diseases, it's very important that we talk about nephrology, which is just the study of the kidney. Joining me in studio to talk deeper into this is Dr. Veerasamy. She's the head of nephrology department at the Christian Medical College in India. Also, I have retired Captain Victor Okaikwe, who is the managing partner of Riverwoods Dialysis Company Limited. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, so we're talking about dialysis, but of course, let's talk a little about how to protect the kidney. What should a Ghanaian person out there do to protect their kidney? I'll start with you, Dr. Veerasamy.
Kidney is having not only excretion, this elimination of excretion of urine. It has so many functions having. And to maintain this acid-base metabolism, vitamin D metabolism, calcium phosphorus metabolism, then blood production of blood. So many mechanisms is there. It is endocrine, erythropoietin, all these things having so many functions. So when it is dearranged, they go for renal failure. The renal failure may be acute or chronic. Acute renal failure, there is a renal function, dearrangement of renal function, dysfunction of kidney for less than 3 months. Then we'll call it as acute renal failure. When it is more than 3 months, then we'll call it as chronic renal failure. This acute renal failure need not be always because of dysfunction of or dearrangement of renal function, kidney function. Due to some other reason also there will be renal failure. They are called pre-renal factors going for renal failure. For example, severe vomiting, diarrhea. In small children, they will go for acute renal failure. Then severe sweating. If it is not replaced by fluid, syncopal attack, going for
But Dr. Veerasamy, on that, you know, most people, it seems, well, I'm a doctor, so I can understand you, but most people out there may find it difficult to understand. So basically, I just want you to break it down and tell them what they can do to help their kidneys, you know, not get into these states so that they come to you for dialysis. What can they do in the small corner?
Yeah. So there's this cardiac problem, liver problem. They also will go for renal failure.
Right.
Taking, for example, taking more of alcoholism.
So they should be stopping alcohol?
What happened, liver will be failed. Liver will be failed, but kidney won't be functioning. Though kidney is able to function, because of the liver failure, kidney is not able to function.
Right. But in Ghana currently, let's move on to dialysis, because even though some people may try to avoid these things, unfortunately it happens. And so they'll come to the dialysis center seeking for help. What exactly is Riverwoods planning to do in Ghana for the Ghanaian?
Riverwoods Dialysis is a locally incorporated company. Whose aim is to make dialysis treatment affordable and accessible. We plan to do this because very often you would hear about a celebrity that has an acute renal failure or has dialysis problems and cannot afford it, and then the person passes on. Then you don't hear about anything about the disease anymore.
until the next celebrity. But in between those celebrity problems, you have hundreds of thousands of Ghanaians who are quietly suffering from not being able to afford it, because after all, you cannot cure it until you do a complete transplant. And people can't afford it, or else those who may even be able to afford it have no accessibility because of the limited number of machines in this country. As a matter of fact, I'm reliably informed that the statistics are that out of the population of 28 million, as many as 14% may have some dialysis problem. And that out of this, as many as 10% of that may actually need dialysis treatment. And that is, those are huge numbers. You know, the data is depressing. This data is from the Ghana Kidney Foundation, by the way. And we have only about, our data tells us there are less than 100 machines available for progressively maybe 2.8 million people throughout the country. There's pressure on those machines. People are told every day by doctors, oh, well, we'll refer you. And then they don't have time to get in line before they pass on, because the machines are heavily oversubscribed. There is also the added problem that you have lots of people from neighboring West African countries who do not have the facility that come to Ghana for treatment. And because they can afford it, they get priority treatment over those here that cannot afford it. So our aim is to make it accessible and more affordable, and to make it not only affordable and accessible, but bring it closer to those who need the service. And so we are planning on going to the northern region, the western region, the eastern region. You know, we're starting in Accra, and we have commitments from 4 hospitals that are going to begin. I think in the next 30 to 60 days, we'll start working at 4 facilities. We have 37 machines. We intend to bring about 150 more. So we'll have enough machines available, and then make it cheaper.
Very well. But let me come back to you, Dr. Verasamy, concerning what, let's say worldwide, have you identified, being a nephrologist, have you identified as some of the most important problems that lead to renal failure?
See, if you take globally, the commonest cause of chronic renal failure in the world, it is diabetic. Next comes hypertension, high BP. Then affects this kidney, this glomerular disease. After that, this obstruction. In children, obstructive uropathy. Obstruction anywhere in the urinary tract, then they'll go for a renal failure. Especially in male children, post-urethral valve, they'll have. Then this PUG obstruction, or strictures, this ureter, hydroureteronephrosis. All obstruct, whenever there is obstruction in the tract, the urine is not coming out, then going for a renal failure, especially in children. So commonest cause in the world, diabetic is there. If you take India, you say that it is India is the capital of diabetes. So much nowadays, because the lifestyle pattern has very much changed. Because of that.
But that has had its benefits, because even in the United States of America, where I live, partially, about 70% of the doctors in dialysis and hospitals and clinics all over are from India. And the estimable Dr. Verasamy is the guest of Riverwood's dialysis, and will bring only the best people out here, nephrologists here too.
Very well. You've heard a little there about protecting your kidney and the options that are available, where Riverwood is partnering to bring dialysis machines to Ghana to help those who need dialysis. Anyway, that's all time will afford us. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more on New Day. Stay here with us.
Interesting song there. And I'm falling in love with the song already. I tell you what, it's already trending. Yesterday on 3FM and on NewDay FM, it was all over the place. That's the reigning Artist of the Year for VGMA, unprecedented, who set the record, Joe Metal. Oftentimes, people just shortcut the name and say Joe Metal, but it's Joseph Oscar Metal.
It's Joseph Oscar Nyama Metal.
Welcome.
Thanks,
How are you doing?
I'm good.
How's the crown treating you?
The crown. Good, I guess.
So
Life
far,
goes on.
So far, so good, man. And there's a new banger that you have. The live recording, which has become almost synonymous with your brand and your name. People are not copying it. How does that make you feel?
Wow, copying. I guess it's a good thing. As I think Ghana music, for instance, we sort of like started with live. Back in the day, all we knew was live. We actually hardly did, programming or digital music. But at a point, it became what was happening. But I felt that, it was good that we went back to live. I wasn't the one that necessarily started it, but it was something I also believed in and started doing it as other people before me did it. And for me, I love the atmosphere, capturing
the ambience
that
and
on
everything.
tape rather than just the studio strict environment. And so that's what.
How do you whip the audience in line? Because people from diverse backgrounds, platforms with different mindsets, and you seem to whip all of them in line to follow what you're doing.
Most
do you
of the time,
pre-produce them?
Do I what?
Do you pre-produce them?
No.
You meet them at the gate and tell them, okay, this is what we're going to do.
No, not really. But I feel that most of the time it's the presence, it's the atmosphere. Because you can't force them to do it if they're not feeling it. They need to be in that place where everybody is connected to what God is doing in that atmosphere, and it makes it easy for everybody else to just join in without you having to push or force anybody to do so. And so I always say that you can never go wrong with the presence of God. When it's there, everything else
it flows.
Yeah,
of course,
it.
You can't get it wrong with Jesus. But this one, Bononi, it has to be you or you alone.
It's more like, if I have to say, I'll say definitely you.
Definitely
you, but nobody you. You know how certain things happen in your life and you know that there's no way any man could have done this in your life but God. But God. It has to be you.
No other option. Unopposable.
That's it.
So what went into there must be a story to this one.
Bononi was more like a reflective journey for me, like when I was just looking back from where God has brought me from, and somebody who people wrote off and never thought that any good thing could come out. And out of my gratitude, sometimes you talk to people and say, oh, it's God. And then they say, oh, you people too, you like that every time. But I'm like, guys, if it's not him, who else would it be? And so it was more of an emphasis of my testimony of where God has brought me from and, where he's taking me and everything. And so I'm like, God, you know what, this has to be you.
Earlier, somebody has sent a message wanting to know why this song leaked before the official release. You got an answer for that?
Initially, we thought we were the ones that caused the problem, but we realized it wasn't us. I don't know who did it, but then when we uploaded it, there was a confusion with the date. There was 11 and 12 online, on iTunes, and so it went live on the 11th. So some people were able to purchase it on the 11th. But I think that the file going around is actually not the iTunes version.
It is not.
Probably, I'm sure.
Somebody leaked it.
Somebody who, probably maybe we've trusted and said, you know what, listen to it ahead of time. And I sure maybe being nice, the person has shared it with somebody. Saying Charlie knew I know. But you see, and then especially when you put it on a 50-60 people website, like WhatsApp
page, it will go viral.
That's I think that's where the whole problem is coming from right now.
Very interesting. So this is the first time airplay here on TV3, Best in Entertainment, and you got it here first. But let me pick your thoughts. This song is already trending. It's an easy sing along and people can flow with it, like many of your other songs. Gamro says that churches may start paying for music rights. Songs of yours, people are singing in churches. What do you think about it? That you make money off the
I've been
churches?
asked this question so many times. You see, when you go outside, like when you go abroad and all that, they pay. It's like more like a levy or something that most churches pay around the world. I feel that government would have to explain it to the churches better. If you say I'm charging the church for using it, comes out too soon. They would have to be patient to explain to the church why. And like we're saying, the same way the churches are also arguing. If the government starts charging them, what's the word? Some of the churches to their own songs that the musicians they also charge them. So we should all know that it's both sides or both ways. I mean, I hear some people like take from them. They also come after you taking their songs back. All the ones you've done over the years, you know. But I feel that it's not a bad idea. It's just that we will have to explain it better and take our time to make them understand why and how it works. You know, it's not something giddy.
Very interesting though, and I want to pick your thoughts also on the direction of music. For example, we have the Ministry for Culture, Tourism and Creative Arts. I don't see the presence of music heavily in that department of government. What do you think of it? The actors are getting, you know, some shine and all of that. I don't see a lot for musicians.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. It's something personally sometimes I get a bit worried about when you go to other countries. You see the involvement in that sector. You see halls that are built by government, you know, subsidized for musicians because they are you know, they are from that country and all that. But hardly do you get some of those things happening here. And I feel that the organization that represent the musicians, they have to follow these issues and then see if they can help make it work, like Musica and other organizations, so that they speak to government and see how best government can look that side a bit, because I think that it's a really huge industry that if they look at it critically, it has a way that it would actually put the nation on the map, and it will help. I don't think it's a sector we should undermine or underestimate.
Finally, tell me, Bononi, where do we get it?
Bononi is on iTunes, it's on Spotify, it's on all the online platforms, but we have it also on a new page, because most people are complaining about the iTunes and stuff. They can't access it. There's a site called Aftown. Music.com.
You need to spell that for us.
AFTOWN. Aftown. It's like AF Town, but together one word, music.com. And they are here in Ghana, and they're making it easy. You can actually purchase the music there with your mobile money. It's just easy like that. You just go there and mobile money, you can purchase it. I mean, I know technology has made it like it's everywhere, but if you want to support and make sure that the work keep going on and music keep thriving, it's good that you support by buying it, you know, and then you contribute. It's actually just 50% there, I think.
I see. Thank you very much. So you heard it here, download it. But I like Bononi, but this is my favorite.
I know. It'll take time.
That's why we are here, so that the various authorities. That's why we are here, so that the various authorities could help change it for us.
The issue is people have been wrongly placed. Let's look at those issues, deal with them. Then when the numbers are down, those of you who have other issues, we can look at them. Then we make progress. Some has been sent to deaf and dumb schools. You know it's not the right thing to do. Some were genuine errors, so they are being corrected.
Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Education, Otto Plaha, whilst admitting assessing postings online has been challenging, gave the assurance measures were being fashioned out to absorb candidates who are yet to be placed.
Away from education, let's focus on business. And GCB Bank has denied documents circulating on social media indicating that it will soon take over operations of the National Investment Bank. The document, which is sourcing the graphic business, says GCB has begun overtures to take over the state-owned bank, which could create the biggest bank in the country in asset terms.
According to the report, the discussions on the takeover later this year began at the board level. The document, which is sourcing the graphic business, indicated the most recent meeting on the takeover was on August 15, but a board member of GCB Bank, Nano Tuo Champong, has denied the story.
To the best of my knowledge, there isn't any takeover talks other than the two banks that they purchased and assumed management of. It's the governor or the regulator who will be able to tell whether they are distressed or not. But as we speak, they are not in any way distressed, at least from the regulator's point of view.
In a telephone interview, Head of Banking Supervision at the Bank of Ghana, Raymond Amanfo, also denied any such discussions.
Well, I don't know what they are discussing. I mean, as a regulator, nothing has come to our notice. Nobody has seen anything to us.
So you are not aware of any takeover from for GCB taking over NIB?
No.
You haven't received any indication at all whatsoever that NIB is in distress?
No. NIB is not in distress. I've also read it from graphic business, so I'm waiting tomorrow. I'll contact the father.
For it. That's why we are here, so that the various authorities. That's why we are here, so that the various authorities could help change it for us.
The issue is people have been wrongly placed. Let's look at those issues, deal with them. Then when the numbers are down, those of you who have other issues, we can look at them. Then we make progress. Some has been sent to deaf and dumb schools. You know it's not the right thing to do. Some were genuine errors, so they are being corrected.
Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Education, Otto Plaha, whilst admitting assessing postings online has been challenging, gave the assurance measures were being fashioned out to absorb candidates who are yet to be placed.
Away from education, let's focus on business. And GCB Bank has denied documents circulating on social media indicating that it will soon take over operations of the National Investment Bank. The document, which is sourcing the graphic business, says GCB has begun overtures to take over the state-owned bank, which could create the biggest bank in the country in asset terms.
According to the report, the discussions on the takeover later this year began at the board level. The document, which is sourcing the graphic business, indicated the most recent meeting on the takeover was on August 15, but a board member of GCB Bank, Nano Tuo Champong, has denied the story.
To the best of my knowledge, there isn't any takeover talks other than the two banks that they purchased and assumed management of. It's the governor or the regulator who will be able to tell whether they are distressed or not. But as we speak, they are not in any way distressed, at least from the regulator's point of view.
In a telephone interview, Head of Banking Supervision at the Bank of Ghana, Raymond Amanfo, also denied any such discussions.
Well, I don't know what they are discussing. I mean, as a regulator, nothing has come to our notice. Nobody has seen anything to us.
So you are not aware of any takeover from for GCB taking over NIB?
No.
You haven't received any indication at all whatsoever that NIB is in distress?
No. NIB is not in distress. I've also read it from graphic business, so I'm waiting tomorrow. I'll contact the father there.
Sources close to the two banks, however, tell TV3 the takeover could be in 2 weeks. Reports indicate a successful consummation of the deal could potentially create an enlarged GCB